Everyone gets annoyed by something, whether they admit it or not. From loud chewers to fake people, we all have those little things that just irk us. Sigma males might look like nothing bothers them, but that's not entirely true. They may have a higher tolerance for annoyances, but there are still some things that they just can't stand. While they might try to keep it hidden and not show their annoyance, they're quietly seething on the inside. Here are 7 things that secretly annoy Sigma males. Number 1. Fake politeness or forced smiles. Have you ever been in a situation where someone gives you a big smile, but you can tell it's not real? It can feel like you're in one of those cheesy TV commercials where everyone is too happy. Well, Sigma males find that super annoying. They can easily spot when someone is being fake, especially with their politeness. It's like seeing someone wear a mask, and it just rubs them the wrong way when someone preaches about being kind and respectful but doesn't actually mean it. Sigma males struggle to keep a straight face. It feels dishonest to them, and honesty is crucial for Sigmas. They prefer genuine interactions and real emotions. A quick hello or a simple nod in passing is more their style than a forced grin. Why does it annoy them so much? Because fake politeness can feel like an act, and these men can see right through it. They're observant and pay attention to how people show their feelings. When someone fakes cheerfulness just to be liked or to fit in, it leaves them uninterested and even a bit irritated. It's not that they don't like people or smiles. They just value authenticity over everything. This fakery can also make conversations awkward. When someone is putting on a show of friendliness, it often means the conversation might be superficial. Sigma males crave depth and meaningful exchange. They would rather talk about real things or just skip the chit-chat altogether. Imagine being in a situation where everyone is being overly polite with wide, forced smiles. It feels like a scene from a play that Sigma males have no desire to watch. While they might not always say it out loud, their annoyance will show in their subtle body language and lack of engagement. They'll try to keep things moving and get away from the fake niceties as soon as possible. That's why they don't have many acquaintances, only close relationships with people they can be real with. Number 2. Pushy salespeople who won't take no for an answer. We've all been there. Shopping for something nice or maybe just browsing, when suddenly a salesperson swoops in like a bird of prey. They start talking, and before you know it, they're trying to sell you something you didn't even want. Sigma males find this especially annoying. Why? Because they really dislike feeling pressured or having their space invaded. They know what they want, and when they say no, they mean it. But some salespeople just won't quit. They keep pushing and pushing, hoping someone will finally give in. This approach really annoys Sigma males. They value honesty and directness, and a respectful approach would go a long way with them. When someone keeps trying to change their mind, it feels like they're not being heard or respected. It's simple. No means no. And it's not just about saying no. Sigma males pay attention to actions too. If someone can't respect boundaries in one situation, where else might they overstep? It's not necessarily about being rude. It's about holding their ground and making sure their wishes are respected. This interaction can make a situation that should be as simple as buying something frustrating and stressful. Sigma males have no problem deciding for themselves, so being pressured feels much like being treated as if they're not capable of making their own decisions. It's not that they don't want to buy things. They just want to do it on their own terms without any extra pressure that turns their day awkward. Number 3. People who ask for help but don't listen. Have you ever tried helping someone only for them to ignore your advice? It's kind of like talking to a wall. This can be one of the most annoying things ever for Sigma males. Imagine someone coming to you for help, but they're just not interested in what you have to say. They nod along, maybe even pretend to take mental notes, but then they go off and do exactly the opposite of what you suggested. It makes you question why they even asked for your help in the first place. Sigma males like to be straightforward. When someone asks for their help, they're more than willing to share what they know. They'll give you step-by-step instructions that are easy to follow. But when people don't listen, it feels like a total waste of time. Why ask for help if you're not going to use it? It's as confusing as trying to teach a fish to ride a bicycle. Why bother? Sigma men think about situations logically and work to find the best solutions, so when people ignore them, it feels like their thoughts are tossed aside. That's just plain frustrating. They want to help, but they also don't want to waste their time. It's a tricky balance and one that can easily become an annoyance for Sigmas. Number 4. People who fish for compliments. Everyone likes to feel appreciated, but some people take it a step further and fish for compliments. It often feels fake, like the person is trying to manipulate the conversation just to hear something nice about themselves. Sigma males just can't stand this type of behavior. They don't like feeling pressured into giving compliments or being put on the spot. If they feel like someone genuinely deserves a compliment, they will give it freely and sincerely. But when it's obvious that someone is trying to fish for compliments, they actually hold back to see how far that person will go. Don't drop hints and expect everyone to follow along. It can be frustrating when someone constantly hints at their achievements or appearance, hoping others will shower them with praise. It's like trying to enjoy a peaceful day at the beach but having a person constantly nag you to notice the sandcastle they've built. Sigma males are also not the type to overflow with unnecessary compliments. If they do compliment someone, it's genuine and heartfelt. But when someone is clearly fishing for compliments, it takes away the sincerity. It feels like they're forced to give compliments, even if it doesn't align with how they truly feel. It becomes a game that they didn't sign up to play. Number 5. People who can't be direct about what they want. Do you know when someone is trying to say something but dances around it instead of getting to the point? This is one of those things that really gets under the skin of a Sigma. Why beat around the bush when you can just say what's on your mind? But some people just can't seem to be upfront about their intentions. They drop hints, make small talk, and expect others to read between the lines. This can be exhausting for Sigmas because they have no patience for guessing games. When someone is talking in circles without getting to the point, it shows a lack of respect for their time and intellect. Imagine if you're at a restaurant and someone is talking about how much they love spaghetti, but what they really want is a burger. Sounds silly, but that's how it feels to Sigma males when people beat around the bush. They have a lot on their minds and busy schedules, so guessing what someone wants isn't fun or productive for them. It leaves them feeling puzzled and a little annoyed. Why is this such a big deal? Because these men value transparency. They would rather hear a direct yes or no than try to figure things out from mixed signals or vague hints. When someone is upfront, it makes everything smoother and less confusing. It's like playing with clear instructions instead of a blurry rulebook. This not only applies to conversations but also to actions. Sigma males appreciate when people say what they mean and do what they say. It saves time, effort, and unnecessary frustration. Number 6. Having to repeat yourself multiple times. Everyone's probably faced someone who just didn't seem to get it, no matter how many times you said the same thing. For Sigma males, having to repeat themselves over and over is particularly annoying. Imagine a time when you were sure you explained something clearly, but the person you were talking to kept asking for the same thing repeatedly. Can feel like you're stuck in a loop. Sigmas pride themselves on being clear and straightforward, so when someone just can't seem to understand what they're saying after multiple attempts, it can be incredibly frustrating. When they speak, they expect the message to be understood the first time. They like to get straight to the point, no fluff. But when people don't catch on quickly, it makes them feel like they're wasting their time. It's like playing a telephone game where the message keeps getting lost. They just don't understand why it needs to be so complicated. Think about it this way. Imagine reading the same page of a book endlessly. It gets tiring and boring, right? That's how it feels for Sigmas. They'd rather just move on to something else. They don't want to be rude or dismissive, but they also don't want to waste their time on something that should be simple. Every time they have to repeat themselves, it's like hitting the rewind button on a conversation. It's just not their idea of a good time. Number 7. Others assuming they're always available. Have you ever felt like people just assume you have all the time in the world to help them out? It can be frustrating, right? For Sigma males, this is a big annoyance. People often assume that just because they are quiet and laid back, they don't have their own busy schedules or personal priorities. However, that's far from the truth. While Sigmas do value their alone time, they also have a lot going on behind the scenes. So when others assume they can drop everything at a moment's notice, it bothers them. It feels like people are not respecting their boundaries or understanding their need for personal time. Being a Sigma doesn't mean they don't enjoy spending time with friends and family. They do. But they also need space to recharge, just like anyone else. They have commitments, hobbies, and tasks they need to handle. They might not always share every detail about their schedule, but that's because they prefer keeping things simple and focused. What makes this situation annoying is the assumption that just because they're not constantly talking about their plans, they must be free. It's like others are trying to fill their time for them, and while it might come from a good place, it still feels intrusive and disrespectful. When people assume they're always free, it creates an uncomfortable situation. Imagine having to constantly explain why you can't join every outing or say no repeatedly. Can get tiring. That's why many Sigma males seem to have a small circle of close friends and family. It's not because they don't want to expand their social circle, but because they prefer quality over quantity.